name is Tito. I'd like to welcome you all to Parrot Gardens Wildlife Show. Florida's southern location, along with our subtropical climate, make it a great place for lots of different types of plants and animals. As you're walking along our trails, you may want to stop and take a look into some of our orchids and flowering plants. You may see a grasshopper, caterpillar, or maybe a butterfly. Here at the Parrot Gardens, we do have our fair share of bugs. I have a couple of special bugs I want to bring out for you, and you volunteered to help me out with the hat. Come on up. Come on up. How you doing? What's your name? Don, where are you from? Miami. Come on up. Okay, stand right over here. Do you like bugs? Sort of. Are you going to help me out? Well, I'll show you in a minute. Are you going to help me out? All right, that's great. Face the audience. The bugs we're going to talk about today are usually pretty harmless. Today we're going to talk about scorpions. This over here is little Sam. Sam's an emperor scorpion. He's having lunch. Sam's an emperor scorpion. He comes from Africa. He's actually one of the largest scorpions in the world. He can just about double his size. And this over here is little Esmeralda. Esmeralda is a very common Florida scorpion. In fact, she's so common, we actually found her right over there on the bleachers, about the second row from the top. I'm serious. Okay, now one of these two scorpions you can pick up, but the other one, if you pick it up and it stings you, you'll be dead in less than 30 seconds. So which one do you want to pick up?
Not the one that's still eating.
Okay, so you want the little one?
Yeah, we'll take it.
Okay, you know what? You're dead.
Okay.
Now you don't want to mess with that little one. Go ahead and hold your hand out flat like this. I'll grab Sam here and put him in your hand. I need you to use your other hand as a bridge though, because Sam does like to walk around a lot and we really don't want him to fall off. He is a very nice scorpion, but if he falls off, he might get upset, and we really don't want that to happen, if you know what I mean. I'm going to grab Esmeralda here. Keep an eye on him. He's pretty quick. He was training for the Olympic marathons a couple years ago. I'll be back in half an hour. Now, a lot of people think you might get sick or maybe die if you get stung by a Florida scorpion, but that's not true. Actually, the sting of a scorpion is a lot like that of a bad bee or a wasp sting. And unless you're allergic to it, or maybe have a heart condition, they're not really going to cause you a great deal of problems, but I guarantee they will cause you a great deal of pain. Now, there is a secret to holding scorpions. The general rule is to give the more dangerous one to the volunteer. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, the secret is to notice the size of their pinchers. The larger their pinchers are, the less often they're going to use the stinger on their tail. You notice Esmeralda has very tiny pinchers, and they're practically useless to her, except for maybe holding on to her food. So she's going to use the stinger on her tail a lot more often for self-defense. Sam over there has very large pinchers, so he's going to use them as his first means of self-defense a lot more often than he uses the stinger on his tail. Now, scorpions are not insects like a lot of people think. They're actually arachnids, which means they're related to spiders. Like spiders, all scorpions have 8 legs, and they are carnivorous, which means they like to eat meat. These guys like crickets a lot. Now, you can usually find scorpions in dark, damp, wooded areas, and sheds and woodpiles seem to be their favorite hangouts. That's why we find a lot of them right underneath the bleachers you're sitting on. Have you had enough? Yeah, you want to hang on to him? You want to take him home? No, you can't, sorry. But if you put your hand in flat, he'll walk right off. You know, you can't find these guys at a pet shop, though. They're about 10 or 15 bucks. Thanks a lot. How about a big hand for my brave scorpion handler? And this is little Sam and Esmeralda, my emperor and Florida scorpions. Now, also here in South Florida, we have a lot of amphibians and reptiles. And I have make sure I got him in here. Yeah, he's in there. I got a special little toad I want to bring out for you. You want to help me out? Come on up. How you doing? What's your name? Jessica, where are you from? From Parrot Jungle? Oh, Miami. All right. Face the audience. Okay. You like toads? You do? That's great. I got a special little toad I'm going to bring out. This is what's known as a bufo marinus or marine toad. They also go by another name, and that's the giant toad. This is Java. Go ahead and hold on to her just like this. Think of her as a big cheeseburger with legs. Don't take a bite, though. She doesn't taste very good. I'll tell you a little secret. Have you heard of Niagara Falls? Yeah, she kind of leaks every now and then. It's sort of like Niagara Falls. So you want to hold her straight out as far as you can. You want to keep your shoes dry. There you go, like that. Maybe tilt her back, aim her towards the audience. Now these bufo toads are not native to South Florida. They were imported from South America in the late 1950s to help naturally control the insect population in our agricultural areas. They didn't do such a great job with the insects they were supposed to take care of, but they did a great job eating our native frogs and toads. It took very large tolls on their populations. Now these guys have done so well they've practically taken over the place. They're pretty much the most common toad you're going to find around. Now a lot of people, let him jump. A lot of people think you might get warts from handling frogs and toads, but that's not true. What all toads have are called parotid glands located right here at the base of their eyes. And what these glands do is secrete a toxin. Let's say a dog bites into one of these toads, or any toad for that matter. It's going to get that dog very sick. It's going to teach him not to bite into any more toads, kind of nature's way of survival. Problem with these bufo toads, though, is their toxin is very potent. It's actually been known to kill a number of dogs right here in South Florida. So if your dog ever gets a hold of one of these guys, what you need to do is rinse his mouth out with a garden hose and immediately call your veterinarian. Have you had enough? He's cool. You want to take him home? No? Okay. I'll take him back from you. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. Put Jabba back in there. Let me see your hands. Oh, yeah, you got some of that toad stuff. Go ahead and wipe it off on your pants. It comes off real easy. No? Wipe it off on his shirt. Thanks a lot. How about a big hand for her? Now, has anybody been out to the Everglades? No? Nobody? Only a few people. Okay. The rest of you don't get out much? No? Okay. Well, if you've been out there, you may have seen Jake here. Jake is a baby American alligator. And also in here I have Elwood. Elwood is American crocodile. Now, there's a lot of ways to tell these guys apart. The easiest way is to look at their nose or snout. You notice the nose of an alligator is flat and broad, or the nose of a crocodile is long and slender. Also, alligators prefer fresh water, such as lakes, ponds, and canals, where crocodiles prefer salt water, such as beaches, bays, and gulfs. Alligators are very common. Their numbers are estimated at about 1.5 million right here in the state of Florida alone. Crocodiles are not so lucky. There's only between 400 and 500 left in the entire United States, with most of their population being right here in South Florida. There's a couple of reasons for their low numbers. One of the main reasons is because these guys prefer to breed on quiet and secluded beaches where there's no one else around. Done? Done? Okay. If you've ever tried to find a quiet, secluded beach right here in South Florida, or anywhere for that matter, you know it's pretty much impossible. It's just about taking all their beaches away so they have very few places left to breed. But hopefully with some conservation efforts, we can bring their numbers back up out in the wild someday. Now these two guys are by no means fully grown. They're only about 4 years old each. To give you an idea, they live about 50 years out in the wild, growing to an average length of 10 to 12 feet and weighing hundreds of pounds. But they never really stopped growing. In 1890, an American alligator was caught that was over 19 feet long and weighed over half a ton. To give you an idea of what that is, from right here where the scorpions are, to all the way over here is 18 feet. So this is little Jake and Elwood, American alligator and crocodile. There we go. Okay. I have one other reptile I'm going to bring out for you. He's just a little guy though. His name is Darth. Hey Darth, how you doing? Ooh. Anybody know what Darth is? Indigo. Said it right, yeah. Darth is an eastern indigo snake. Indigo snakes are very special for a couple of reasons. First reason is because these guys are actually immune or not affected by the bite of venomous snakes. They've actually been known to kill and eat rattlesnakes out in the wild. There is one venomous snake they have to watch out for though, and that's the coral snake, which is an extremely venomous snake, which is also found right here in South Florida. Now, these guys are also interesting because they're one of the very few snakes found on the endangered species list. Now, this is mainly because, as you know, we're building pretty rapidly here in South Florida, and their home in the Everglades is being destroyed at an equal rate. These guys are pretty much running out of a place to live. About 20 years ago, you could find these guys just about everywhere, and right now there's very, very few of them left. Now, indigo snakes are the largest non-venomous snake native to North America. The largest one on record was just over 6 feet. And that's not much bigger than Darth here. Darth is about 5.5 feet. So he doesn't have too much more to grow. I'm going to put him back over here. He's not venomous, no. See you later, Dart. Okay, this next little girl I'm going to bring out for you is not a reptile. She's a mammal. Pepper is what's known as a Virginia possum. Possums are the only marsupial native to North America. Anybody know what a marsupial is? A pouch? Yeah, it's a mammal that carries their baby around in a pouch. Now, you can find these guys just about everywhere throughout North America. Now, possums are nocturnal, which means they move around mainly at night, and they are omnivores, which means they'll eat just about anything they can get that mouth on. It's anything from fruits to nuts and berries, birds, their eggs, just about anything they can eat, anything they can find. Now, a couple things most people don't know about possums is that they are immune to rattlesnake bites. Just like the indigo snake over there, they have been known to kill and eat rattlesnakes out in the wild. They're also mainly immune to rabies. There's only been a couple of isolated cases of a possum having rabies in the past 100 or so years. So if you see a possum in your yard, you don't have to worry about your dog or cat getting into a fight with them. They're not going to get rabies from a possum. But if they get close enough, I guarantee they'll get a pretty nasty bite, possibly even some stitches, because possums have the most teeth of any mammal. There's 50 very sharp teeth in that mouth. And if you've ever seen a possum alive, chances are you freaked him out and he's got his mouth wide open showing off all their teeth. That's one of their threatening gestures. And it usually works on most predators and allows them to escape. Now in the wild, they don't live very long. About a year, maybe a year and a half if they're very lucky. Pepper here is only about 4 months old. So hopefully we'll have her for several years. Now, anybody heard of possums hanging from their tail? Yeah? A couple people. Possums can't hang from their tail when they're very young, but by the time they're a couple of months old, their body weight's too heavy for them. And they can't hang from the tail anymore, so they just use it like a fifth hand to hold on to branches and stuff. We've actually seen our possums here carrying around pieces of newspaper with their tails. I think Mikey wants to come out here. We got one last little girl that's coming out, and she's kind of the star of our show, and we had a little birthday celebration for her today. Hi, Mikey. Mikey is our bald eagle. Now, you may notice she has white head and tail feathers. Mikey is about 6 years old. Now, when bald eagles are born, of course, when they're born, they have no feathers, but their first field goal. Their first set of feathers is all dark brown, and they don't get that white head and tail until their 5th or 6th year. Now, if you notice, hold on a second, Pepper's a little freaked out. There you go. See you later, Pepper. Pepper got a little freaked out by Mikey. If you notice, Mikey's head and tail are not completely pure white. Hopefully they will be pure white by her next molt. Now everybody knows the bald eagle is a national symbol, right? Yeah. Well, the bald eagle was on the endangered species list for a long time, mainly because of the widespread use of the chemical pesticide DDT. What DDT did was build up in their fatty tissues and destroyed their calcification process. Means that when they went to lay their eggs, the shells weren't strong enough, and when they sat on them to incubate them, the shells cracked, and of course the chicks were never hatched. And thanks to the ban of DDT in North America, birds like Mikey and other animals that were affected by DDT are making rapid comebacks. In fact, in December of 1993, the bald eagle was taken off the endangered species list. We are making a lot of progress with these birds. Now, in case you're wondering about their population numbers, Alaska has the highest concentration of bald eagles. There are about 6,000 pairs of bald eagles breeding in Alaska. And right here in Florida, we have the second largest population. We have about 2,500 pairs. So we have a lot of them right down here. Now this glove here is 5 layers of top-grade leather. Now these talons don't look very sharp, but believe me, they are razor sharp. And if Mikey wanted to, she could squeeze down there and go through most of those layers, and Jason would definitely feel it. But Mikey's pretty much used to people, so we don't have to worry about her getting aggressive. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this does conclude my presentation. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'll be around for a couple more minutes if you have any questions, but I must ask you to please remain off the stage. Thank you.